Hey heroes, Cole's here. Today I'm going to be going through the best heroes for Dragon's Tower as of November 2025. Dragon's Tower has, over the last several months, become one of my favorite events in Heroes vs. Hordes. I have tried all of my heroes over the last 4 or 5 months now in Dragon's Tower, so I have a pretty good sense of who's good amongst my hero set, and I own about 47, 48 of all the now 72 heroes in this game. I outreached to people on Reddit in my guild to figure out who else was good, so I should have a pretty good sense of the best heroes for Dragon's Tower. I'm using the analogy of chess for now. I don't know if it totally fits, because I don't actually know if a queen is better than a king. But in my head, the queen is the most powerful chess piece. So right, queens are like, can ace the whole 0 to 20. Kings are like 2-3 floors. Knights are like a floor, and pawns are the beginning of a floor. And then worse than pawns are people that actually make it worse during the run. So there are a couple of heroes, and there's some scenarios that I'll get to when they pop up here, that actually can make the run worse, which is, you don't want that. So I'll hop right into it. And if anyone disagrees with any of my thoughts, please let me know. So Astral Mage is our first queen, our first S+ tier kind of hero. Astral Mage has the potential, and many people in my guild will say that Astral Mage is the premier hero for Dragon's Tower. The big thing here is a combination of shielding and a whole ton of damage. Astral Mage, you need to get to at least 4 star levels. Before that, she doesn't do anything. But at 4 star levels, her skills start ramping up so well that she can be one of the best heroes in Dragon's Tower. The key to Dragon's Tower is surviving the first 10 seconds without taking damage and getting in a position to start snowballing from leveling up. So the best heroes are the ones that can just survive literally the first 10 to 20 seconds with just survive them. Like, that is what separates a pawn from a knight, is just, can you get past the first 10 seconds of the level when you don't get any extra levels? And Astral Mage not only can get through the first 10 seconds, but then can continue to scale through the rest of the floor. So I'm going to come back to this in a little bit, but the first 10 seconds of any floor are the most important part of it. And Astral Mage has the workings to be probably the top 2, top 3, maybe even the best Dragon Tower hero. All right, Arcane Mage is the first example of worse than pawns, and I'll go over why this is. There's several times I've tried to use Arcane Mage. She can't get past the first 10 seconds, which is obviously a big problem. But then after that, further into the run, if you bring her in just to maybe grab a level, if you die right after spawning, particularly like late into the floor, you have a chance to spawn like the end of floor mobs, the end of floor horde. And those are the purple kind of dragony guys that have a ton of health and do a ton of damage. And what can happen is, if you get into a spiral too late in a floor, you get only those mega mobs spawning. And this actually almost doomed 1 or 2 of my runs when I didn't realize that mega spawn would happen, and it completely took out Warlord or it took out Werebeast. So if you bring in Arcane Mage and she dies right away, and then you bring in one of your kings or queens to clean up the floor, they can get hit by these massive awful mobs and just die too. And so that's what I mean worse than pawns, is that they're so bad you actually might not even want to play them in Dragon's Tower. At least not in the middle of a run. You could potentially start off a floor with them, for example. Big Game Hunter I have as a pawn too. So pawns are important. In chess, I'm not a high level chess player, but the concept is still that every piece on your board means something, and pawns do matter. Ideally, a pawn can just live long enough to get 1 level up. That's all a pawn wants to do. They're gonna die, but if they can get 1 level, it's a success. So if they start off a floor and gain you a level, that's what you're going for. All right, so here's an interesting one, Druid. Druid was recommended to me. I don't own Druid, unfortunately, but I don't remember who it was on Discord said that Druid can be pretty solid because its 5-star Forge has healing, and he's just a damage monster kind of later in the game. I imagine a 4 or 5, definitely a 5-star Druid and maybe a 4-star Druid with a 5-star Forge could be somewhere in the low Queen's High King. This one, I don't have any empirical testing on by myself, so if anyone else has an opinion, but I was given it as a rec, and it intuitively makes sense to me. I'm going to put it here. I can't move them down this thing, but he's probably going to be somewhere in this range. Warlord, real quick, he is one of the queens here. He's one of the better heroes for Dragon's Tower. You combine his just unlimited amount of damage, plus the fact that he can heal from his Forge, and you've got a very, very strong hero for Dragon's Tower. Top 3, top 4, see exactly where he ends up placing. You do need a 5-star forage for this dude, and you do want at least 4-star levels. Warlord then pops off, for sure. One of the best heroes in Dragon's Tower. While other guides, I typically think of like beginning players, this is very much like thinking the end game, where you have 4-star levels and a 5-star forge. Like that's kind of the mental model that I'm approaching this with for the heroes. This is very much not like I just got the hero, how does he do? This is like you've invested something into him, where will he end up kind of thing. Shield Warden has an argument to be the best hero in Dragon's Tower. The big thing that separates Shield Warden from everybody else is he gets a whole bunch of damage from his leveling up. So at 4-star levels, he gets his strong special stat. It's just like a pure boost to damage. With 4-star levels is a beast in Dragon's Tower. Like he can 0 to 20. I'm on floor difficulty 39. He literally 0 to 20 it this week for me. I haven't played with his forge, and so like I'm already beating it easily with a 4-star Shield Warden. Imagine a 4-star Shield Warden with a forge is going to be very, very strong. The big thing with him is just that he can clear Horde. Like that's the hard part, is clearing Horde. And there is one way for all heroes to clear Horde and at least be helpful pawns, which I will still talk about in a minute. See, Werebeast is top 3 for sure. I don't know exactly on this spectrum where he'll fall. A lot of people think Werebeast is number 1. Werebeast has just an insane amount of healing and shielding. He's the only one that gets both. But his big downside is damage. So you have to figure out how to clear out Horde. All right. Warlock. Warlock, I actually think, is one of the better heroes in the game. Basically, and every time anyone tests Warlock, Warlock comes out like just rocking. So Warlock, you need a 5-star forge and ideally 4-star levels, like I've been saying. But then you start getting slows and just a ton of damage. And Warlock has like super high caps. So she's a sleeper hero in this game. Surprisingly strong. She is one that I think has the biggest upside. So I'm not entirely sure she should be a queen, but I want to make this graph look pretty, so I'm going to leave her there. So she's getting special promotion to queen status. There is a big argument about these 3, I think, where these 3 should fall in the top 3. Werebeast's biggest downside is he doesn't have damage. The way you can circumvent the fact that he doesn't have damage or that any other hero doesn't have damage is with Heroic Wizard Hat. This is the thing I've been alluding to the whole time, but Heroic Wizard Hat is a game changer in Dragon's Tower. That one item single-handedly like moves everybody up a level. What the meteors do from Wizard Hat is let you survive the first 20 seconds. I literally went from having 27 to 30 deaths per floor to 0 because of Wizard Hat. What Wizard Hat does is it allows these 3 dudes to not take any damage the first 20 seconds. So that's the key to making any of this work, is you have to like figure out how to kite, and you have to figure out how to get them up to 4-star levels with 5-star forge, but then you need Wizard Hat. And I confirm that I'm allowed to talk about this. Just for the guys in the guild. I confirmed that I can talk about this. So in my opinion, if I have to be honest, I'd say Astral Mage is the best hero in this game mode. Werebeast is second, and Shield Warden is third. Before I knew about the existence of Wizard Hat, I would have flipped it like this. But Wizard Hat makes like a huge difference, and it makes Astral Mage basically unkillable because her weakest point is the first 20 seconds before her shield builds, and Wizard Hat lets her build her shield. And so that's my spoiler for Dragon's Tower. Hope that Freywood doesn't listen to this. All right, everyone, appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time. Again, please like and subscribe if you like the channel. I think most people have that. They're already here, so I appreciate all you guys. Special thanks to all the executive producers, see if I can remember all of them. There are a whole bunch of them now. There is Cake Invictus, Riverwind, TheWuba, Crabs, Charlos, Lady Ikaika, Paradox, Arc, TallaNasty, Cemar. I think this is the last month for Bunni. VKNinja, Clinton, Roz. Roz is the most recent one, and there's no way I can pronounce his name right, so I'm going with the simpler version of it. Sorry, dude. And Sumamormy. I really appreciate the support, everyone. It means a lot to me. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them as comments. I will get to them as quick as I can. All the comments actually really help with the algorithm, so appreciate it there. And remember, always do your adventures! A warlock is a male version of a witch? Okay, so that's a dude. Got it. Warlock's a dude. I think it's the hair and like the eyeliner. I mean, it's like his eyebrows, but I think that's what it was. Okay, Warlock's a dude.